Inverted Wingbacks. You can get some fantastic combinations from them. And on today's show, we're going to craft a few tactics, and I'm going to show you the different ways in which you can get inverted wingbacks to kickstart your tactics. An inverted wingback is just a flashy defensive midfielder. That's it. You can play defensive midfielders as inverted wingbacks in this game without too much of a penalty. All you got to do is make sure that these players have the right attributes, because they're going to be expected to defend like fullbacks and attack as defensive midfielders. We're not going to deal too much with the basics of the inverted wingback. We're going to talk about the movement of the inverted wingback next. Now, when you go into the game and you've set yourself up maybe a 4-3-3 like this, and you elected to play inverted wingbacks here, you've got two wingers here. When you've got the ball, the inverted wingbacks will shift into the center of the pitch, giving you a bit of a W shape. This is significant because you've got wingers. That's why your inverted wingbacks are sitting in this spot. Now, if you are playing any kind of a system where you don't have wide players and you're playing something like this, then what will happen is your inverted wingbacks will stay narrow through the transitions. They will still play within these zones, but they won't sit anymore. They don't sit and hold this position. What they end up doing is they end up playing narrow. This is particularly important to understand whenever you're creating any of your tactics. The moment they enter this zone, you actually have players, a lot of players in the center of midfield. This means that if you play roles here, the whole position, you could end up asking for trouble because you're not having anybody attacking in the middle. So whenever I play with inverted wingbacks, I like to think of ways in which I can get these two guys out attacking the spaces, offering us a better chance of moving these two guys high up the pitch. Now, once I do this, assuming these guys are attacking the central midfielders on attack, then I have what is a 5-channel attack. So here it's important to get a striker that is good with vertical and lateral movements, maybe an F9. An F9 can drop deep and AF can go this way. But generally, I like roles that actually drop deep. So he drops deep. These two guys attack the center. It offers us a lot of vertical channel attacks. Now, there are plenty of other ways we can get combinations working, and that's what I'm going to do next. So here we've got a simple tactic. We've got F9 dropping. We've got two wingers on attack, attacking the flanks. There are no PIs in this because two central midfielders on attack and two inverted wingbacks. What we're trying to do is do a central attack, right? So we've got a roaming playmaker, two central midfielders on attack, one F9, two players giving us space. What we're going to add is the focus play to the middle. What we're going to look out for are transitions. When we have possession of the ball, you can see the W over here already. But what happens if you lose possession of the ball? And this is what's going to happen. We've lost possession of the ball. Now, these players have to go into these positions to try and defend. It's something that they will start doing. As you can see, it leaves gaps open. So whenever you play with inverted wingbacks, it's very important that you have players who can play these kind of roles. It's not a magic pill for success, but you can easily screw things up if you get the wrong players. Our ball transition hasn't been very good. So what I've done is I've gone to my keeper and told him to throw it long towards the fullbacks and the central defenders. I've also told my team to play it wider because our initial setup just didn't allow us to work the ball out from the back. Now we've got the ball. As you can see, our build-up play is moving through the center. We've got our players attacking the middle. We lose the ball. We're counter-pressing because it's kind of important to understand why counter press works in this particular situation. We're focusing play through the middle. We are attacking through the middle, and our shape is perfect for us to counter press when we lose the ball. So I want my players to, immediately try and win the ball backs when they are in those positions already. Otherwise, the inverted wing backs need to fall back to their fullback positions and then start to defend from those areas. I don't see the point. This is the kind of transition we're after. Our CM on attack gets the ball. Our winger is in this position. Our F9 is here. We have another central midfielder here. We've got the inverted wingback pushing up. As we push the ball through, the winger comes inside. He feeds the F9. We get one of the central midfielders on attack, attacking the channel, which is exactly the kind of movement we're after. As he gets the ball, the inverted wingback slips the ball back to the roaming playmaker. He finds the other inverted wingback, who finds the winger, and it switches to the other central midfielder who comes in unmarked, and we score the goal that gives us the lead. So this setup was pretty simple. We wanted these two to be the primary goal scorers. We want to create a system which does a central flood. We get players from midfield attacking defenses. And to get that to work, we played with inverted wingbacks. There are no PIs in the system for information. So I wanted to make a really simple system which doesn't overcomplicate. We've got focus play to the middle. We've got player or defense. We told the goalkeeper to throw it long to the back line. It's a pretty simple but effective way of doing a center flood using inverted wingbacks. Now we're going to create another setup involving the inverted wingback, but we're going to do something that, the rules say you shouldn't do. Now, if I play an inverted wingback like this, he's going to be driving through the middle again. So he's going to attack the middle. We've got a box-to-box midfielder is going to go up and down. We've got shadow strikers F9, advance forward. But this time, yes, I'm going to stick to focusing, play through the middle. We are definitely going to counter press when we lose the ball. But the idea here is, once again, to do a center flood. The danger when you do something like this is, of course, there's nobody else left to help you defend the flanks. But we're doing this to illustrate how this might play. Here we are playing against a team that's got 5 at the back. And we're playing a system where we are using inverted wingbacks on attack. Now notice where our inverted wingback is at the moment. He's playing very much like a wingback, but when he gets here, when they get the ball, they attack centrally. So what you will notice is that as they might still hold their width as like wingbacks do, but when they get the ball, they will attack the central areas of the pitch. It's something that you want to bear in mind if you use inverted wingbacks within a system that doesn't have any wingers. So is it a major no-no to use inverted wingbacks in a wingerless system? Of course not. I mean, since FM21, the overlap and the underlap instruction have changed. So what I normally do is if I'm playing with inverted wingbacks in a wingless system, I like to use the underlap instruction because it tells the widest player to hold up the ball looking for inside runs. We've got inside runs happening here. So the inverted wingback will get wide and he's going to look for these kind of runs as well. So yeah, it can work in wingless systems, these inverted wingbacks, but we have to understand that they are attacking central areas. You can see the inverted wingback coming into the center when we have the ball and he's looking for options, and this turns inverted wingbacks into something like threats from outside the area. You can get inverted wingbacks to come in from those wider positions and they will just start scoring goals. So there are some combinations that work brilliantly with the inverted wingbacks. I've shown you central midfielders on attack because the inverted wingback comes into his slot. The CM on attack just goes bounding. It can also work very well with the Mazzala on attack. However, there's one combination you got to be very careful with: the inverted wingback and the inverted winger, because they both end up in the same spots. So here we've set up a 4-3-3 where we've got an inverted wingback and an inverted winger on the same channel. I want you to pay attention to how these two roles perform. Here we've got the ball. Notice where the inverted wingback and the inverted winger are positioned. They don't sit on top of each other. But what will happen is that they are too close to each other. So what we really want this inverted wingback and this inverted winger to do is we want the inverted winger to move out, right? Because they're going to end up in the same channel like this. And then you don't get enough width for you to use this area to do the transitions. So what I typically recommend is coming in here and asking the inverted winger to stay wider. When this happens, the inverted winger stays on the outside of the fullback instead of being on the inside of the fullback. This way, whenever you are transitioning the ball from defense midfield into attack, you get more options during the transition. Now, when the ball moves towards the inverted wingback, the inverted winger is now outside the fullback. It gives us better options because now we can pull the fullback away from the defense. Because if the inverted winger is inside, what's going to happen is you're going to congest the center a bit too much, and this will nullify the effect you're trying to achieve with the central midfielder attacking the channel. So this gives us better options during build-up play, as well as making these two roles work more effectively together. So can you theoretically play something like this? Now this is a crazy formation. You got inverted wingback, inverted wingback, inverted wingback, inverted wingback, two wingers on attack, and an F9 with the AP in the middle. Now, it might appear to some people that this doesn't work, but it actually does, because these inverted wingbacks will also come in centrally. These inverted wingbacks will do it higher up the pitch. So you got like a crazy setup where you might end up looking something like this, right? So as you build up play, you got one inverted wingback here, you got another inverted wingback here, you got one inverted wingback here, and another inverted wingback here. So what we have is a very big W now, right? So we've got this huge W, but we also have these two guys holding the center, so they play like central midfielders. We get all these players in these positions. We got the AP here. We get these inverted wingbacks now behaving like a wingback. He's going to be totally free to attack the space, but we have told him to play on support. It'll be interesting to see what will happen if I turn these guys into attack duties as well. And then we are able to apply pressure. Now, it's definitely doable. It can be fun. There's no rule in this game that says you shouldn't play roles in a specific way. The whole idea here is the roles allow you to be as imaginative as possible. So go out there, make your own kind of tactics, and you never know. You could come up with something that looks a bit crazy, but as long as you understand how these roles move on the pitch, you should be able to craft yourself some pretty decent tactics. Yes, there are some insane combinations that are possible in this game, and I'm looking forward to hearing your combinations. So let me know in the comments below what kind of combinations you've come up with, and maybe even share your tactics when I do bring your tactics on Wednesdays over on BTN Live. Once again, I want to thank you for watching today's show. I hope you found it interesting, and it gives you some inspiration to go create your own tactics. Meanwhile, you guys stay safe, take care of each other. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.